Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to this week's Productive Agent Podcast. My name is Tony Ruiz. I'm the founder and host of the Productive Agent Podcast and Facebook group. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Shane Tokheim. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great.
Awesome, man. Well, today's title of the episode is just Real Talk with Shane Tokheim. We're going to cover 4 or 5 different topics and just kind of bounce some things back and forth. And I want to start with tomorrow. We're going to be wrapping up our 6-week group session that you've been hosting at your title company. Talk to us a little bit about, what you've taken away, what you've learned, hopefully what the agents have taken away as well.
Yeah. Also mentioned that I am at Fidelity National Title. But it's been great. It seems like every session, that's usually, we did 9 weeks one time, but usually there's 6 weeks. I feel like a few people get stronger and stronger and realize their impact and their potential. And that's really what it's all about. I love the fact that some people have kind of adopted my method of communication, and then they're impacting their own little circle, and then maybe that somebody in their circle is impacting their circle, and hopefully everybody's just paying it forward. And what do you call that? The trickle theory, or just it's paying it forward over and over and over. And so, I'm hoping that goes on. And every week was a little bit different. I talk about structure a little bit. I talk about the power of your impact. And so, I think it's been really good. I think if you talk to the people that are in the group, they hopefully would say the same thing.
Yeah. I just had lunch with one of them, and he's gotten a lot out of it. And being surrounded by like-minded people, that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
And we talk about, if you want to change the world, just change one person at a time.
That's right.
So if you can make an impact and help somebody wake up a little bit earlier. I know that's been a topic of conversation. Yeah. And I know when you get a text message of somebody saying, hey, I woke up a little bit earlier. Yeah. I did my workout. I got my reading in. You're like, you get so excited.
Sure. And one of the questions I ask every week, I don't know if you've noticed, but the last 3 questions are always the same. And it's tell me a story about something good, whether it be your daily structure, your database, or a lead that you got from some activity that we happen to do that week. And so my favorite one is your daily structure. I'm hoping somebody says, like, I started getting up earlier today, and I found myself being more productive, or something like that.
Is there anything that you personally have done in the past 6 weeks? I mean, I know that you've been doing very structured lifestyle for quite a while.
Yeah, not necessarily. I think just doing this and over and over, and having it to offer people, and the I guess excitement that I feel from the person that I'm talking to that's never been to the group. I really like that. And then, a lot of people say, like, oh yeah, let me get in, but then they don't. Yeah. But because people are afraid a little bit of accountability, like we've talked about in the past, and they're not quite sure what to expect. And so, the unknown is a little scary. They don't know anybody in the group that they're going to come in there, and they don't know what's going to happen. But I tell everybody, if you just want to come one time, and check it out, you might like it. And if you don't ever come back, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I mean, it's not for everyone. Well, maybe it is, but
yeah. No, I totally get that. And it could be intimidating, especially if you don't know anybody that's going to be there. And I've attended several of the groups now, and I do enjoy, seeing different people come in, come out. Some people return and do it again. But I find myself, even though like we talk minimum 3 to 4 times a week, you're telling me the same.
I thought you were going to say a day, because
it could be a day. Yeah, for sure. But it's like, even last week, there was several things. It's like, I've heard that before, but it just hit me differently.
Yeah.
And even going back to when I first started, I was doing a bunch of trainings, and I was kind of doing the same trainings over and over, but it hits differently the second time, the third time. And of course, sometimes we just need those reminders.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. It's just like we get sidetracked. I was having lunch with somebody today, and we were like, man, sometimes we could get in our head big time, especially if we're in like a little lull.
Yeah.
Or like we start questioning everything.
Yeah.
We're like, are we made out for this? And it's like, you're fine. Like, just keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
So.
Like we always talk about, a lot of the books that we read reiterate almost the same thing. So many of them are get up early, have a structure, have a plan, and you're reading it like, wow, that's great. I do the same thing that the last book said, but it's important to keep reiterating it to yourself, you know? So yeah, you got to do that. And that's what the group is about. And, you know, every book that's a self-help book is basically about too.
Yeah, for sure. This book right here, I listened to it and it changed my life. And I know somebody else in the group said that she regrettingly said it, but she's like, it changed my life. And I laughed at her.
Wow.
But yeah, The Miracle Morning, talking a little bit about that kind of triggered me to get into a routine of working out. That's kind of our next little topic that I want to touch on. What happened with me is I read The Miracle Morning, started kind of doing that daily structure. I attended a real estate conference. It was, I can't remember which one. It's called Build. It's an EXP event that's usually up in DFW. And now they're going to be here in July at the JW Marriott. So that's going to be super cool. But when I attended that real estate event, it's kind of one of my first big events, I was blown away by the type of people that were at that event. And what I mean by that is very highly successful people, you know, have a presence, have an aura, have this energy about them, and they're usually in pretty good physical health. And I'm looking around and going, oh, there's a lot of older people than me that look freaking fit and amazing. And I was kind of in a workout routine and trying to get into it. I'd go to the gym in the morning and it was freaking packed. Like you couldn't even get into the gym because everybody there at that conference seemed to be working out. You know, and the more I've read about it, you know, they talk about health is wealth, and the importance of taking care of your body and doing that. Talk to us a little bit about that. I know that you truly believe in that. You still lift, you still work out quite a bit. What kind of how important is that to our business?
I mean, to me, it's extremely important. I think that you're right. It seems like all the top producers have some sort of workout routine. In fact, a coworker of mine, I swear, he went to the gym every day and he would always meet a top producer there just randomly. And he was getting a lot of business just from going to the gym. So, I mean, so can you. Yeah. But I think I've said this before. I think I might even said it last week. There's, you know, it's like driving a car down the road. And if one of the tires goes flat, you're not going to be as good, right? You're not going to go as fast. Well, your life is like that. And so health is one of the biggest. Right. And so, yeah, I've been doing the same routine for, I don't even know how long, a long time. I started with that P90X, which is great, but it's hard. And I did that for like 3 years. And then as I get older, I got into it Sanity because it's less impact like on your joints and everything. It's still great. And I still do that. I did it this morning. I do it every single day. I would be lost if I didn't do that. I can't imagine not. I can't. I'm so structured that if I don't do that, the rest of my day, I don't think I could get going without it. So anyway, I think, and that has added to my, I guess, level of success, I feel like. And I think that what it adds is confidence. You know, you feel good, you look better, people probably respect you a little bit more. I don't know if they do or don't, but I don't want to find out. You know what I mean? I think, and I tell the story to a lot of people, right? And I you know, last time we talked, I think I was talking about writing a book. And you know what I did as I went and got that book out and I started reading it. And
which one?
The book I'm writing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so in there, I had written about that too. It just snowballs. Like the effect of, I guess working out is really what you're talking about. But I think confidence is so key to everything. Like honing your craft. We talked about that last time too. Yeah. But you know, if you work out and people are asking you like, wow, dude, like I saw a guy today and he walked in the door and I was like, wow, work out much? And he's like, yeah, a little. I mean, he's freaking buff, but you could see his confidence just oozing out of him.
Sure.
You know, and you could have too much confidence for that, I guess, but I'd rather err on that side. So anyway, you see the top producers in our field, most of them have got some sort of workout routine and they probably stick to it very religiously.
Yeah.
I think where I was going with the book, I wrote in there, like, look, I don't go around saying that I work out every single day for the last 15 years to brag. I do it as an example. And I also say I get up at 4:45 every day. And I tell everybody that I meet with, I tell everybody that, not to brag. I say it to you and to everyone in my class. Now everyone knows that I work out every day. So if somebody says, "Hey, did you work out today?" What if I say no? Now I haven't done it.
They're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?"
Exactly. And what if I didn't get up at 4:45 and somebody says, "What time did you get up today?" And I have to say like, "Oh my God, I slept in." That would kill me. I don't want to do that. So I'm very structured, and I say it all the time. So every day I have more accountability partners. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's kind of like people post selfies at the gym. Like it didn't happen if you didn't post a selfie.
So, yeah.
You know,
I don't need to do that, but I mean,
it's some kind of accountability, and I think it definitely gives you obviously the endorphins and the energy. You know, you called me like right after my gym session today, and like, "Oh, your energy's better."
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, I guess I was pumping today, and I felt pretty good." But yeah, it definitely comes in with the confidence and having structure and going back to all of that, which we've talked about before. But the confidence and even relating that to knowing your craft, you mentioned that in there. When you've worked with enough buyers and sellers to kind of pretty much answer all their questions and you feel confident with that, you come off a totally different way.
Absolutely.
You know, and somebody has a question, I'm like, "Oh, it's because of this and this and this and this and this and this," you know, and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thank you." You know, and when I first started, I probably couldn't rattle it off like
exactly. One of your mentees just called me this morning, and she was telling me like somebody just said like, "Wow, you really know your stuff. And you're definitely going to be our agent." And she was like, "Yeah." I mean, you know, and 2 years ago, she probably didn't have that, but yeah. And then to that point also, once you're at that point and you're super confident in contracts, negotiating, you know, all of the just the detail work, then you got to hone the craft of lead generation, because it's all about lead generation. Everybody knows how to write a contract and get the deal to closing, but not everybody can lead generate. So, you know, you work out and then you go and do the next thing, which is lead generation, manage your database. And so I think it's important for that too, because it's part of your daily structure. And if you wake up every day, work out, next thing is lead generation, you know, you'll get into that routine, and you'll look at your lead generation just like you looked at your workout, just like we were talking before. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And you knew I was going to work that in there. I firmly believe that, right? If you're in there working out, if you yourself are in there working out half-ass, how's your lead generation going to be? Half-ass. I mean, for sure. If your garage is not organized, how's your database going to be? Not organized, right? You know, if your house is unorganized, your work's going to be unorganized.
Sure.
To an extent, right? I mean, some people might be the other way, like they're on it at work, but everything else goes aside. And that could be, but for the most part, I think in general, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And, you know,
this was a debate we were having obviously before the show, so he had to kind of plug that there. And I do agree to an extent. But yeah, there's different pros and cons to that. So good stuff. Something else that was brought up by one of our listeners here was the importance of persistence and how doing the right thing will yield results.
Yeah.
You know, and it will definitely test you. I know personally I've experienced that, and it's like I don't feel like I've changed much. But like sometimes the business will slow down. But really, in a self-reflection, it's because I slowed down. I slowed down doing the lead generation several months ago.
Right.
You know, and I tried to fire it back up, and it's going to be okay. You know, but staying persistent and going, I'm doing the right things. It's going to happen. It's going to come back to life.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, you know, I don't know where I read it, but fall in love with the process. And the results will come. You just got to keep doing. Like even you have said to me recently, and I just had a great meeting with an agent and an agent transaction coordinator, and we talked about that. Like, you know, you have all these ideas, like marketing and flyers and you know, web stuff and web design and social media stuff, and all that's good. You know, don't get me wrong, but if you just do what you're supposed to do, and by that I mean manage your database and connect with your database and keep doing that. Keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it with your past clients and your SOI, your sphere of influence. The business will come. And then once you get to be where you want to be, which is hopefully 10 million, you know, then, okay, maybe then add something. But until you're there, just keep on caring about your database. And when I'm saying caring about them, that's what I mean. Like somebody, was it today? Yeah. Somebody today I met with for breakfast, she was saying like, I just don't like saying, who do you know that needs to buy or sell? I'm like, I don't ever say that. I don't want anybody to say that.
Yeah.
I would rather have you say, how are you? And is there anything I can do for you today? And if it comes around, then great. But as long as you're top of mind, I think you're going to be fine, especially if it's your past client and you did a great job for them.
How are you and what can I do for you today?
Yeah.
How can I help you today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything I help you with?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Ricky Cruz says, anything in the world I can help you with.
Yeah. And then they may say like what? Like, oh, I don't know. I mean, are you trying to remodel? Are you trying to sell? Are you trying to buy? Are you trying to, what do you need? I don't know. What are your needs? I mean, I'll help you with anything.
Yeah.
Are you not feeling well? I'll bring you soup. I mean, what do you need?
Yeah. That's true. When you were talking there, it reminded me of my reading today. I'm in the middle of reading A Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller. Mm-hmm. And at first I did not like that book. It was the first book. Michael Kidd at Directions Home Loan gave me that book, like, I think right when I got licensed. And I wasn't into the habit of reading yet. I kind of read it, didn't really get into it, didn't like it. Then I tried listening to it on Audible. I couldn't connect with it. For whatever reason, this third time is a charm. Like, I'm loving it. I'm highlighting like a bunch of stuff. But I'm kind of talking about, marketing and doing these things and, door hangers, all this stuff. They're all great things. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have enough leads, it doesn't matter what you're doing with it, right? So going back to your database, talking to those people, finding the leads, your number one job is lead generation. Mm-hmm. Until you have enough leads to where you're having to like give them away to, referral partners or whatever, then that's what you need to focus on. That's the only thing you need to focus on, rather than, flashy Canva art and stuff like that. So, it was just interesting. That was something that I took away while you were just talking about all that. So, well, cool. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was how we create raving fans. So we've talked quite a bit about, finding the gold in your database. You mentioned that in class, and how to talk to people, how to find people, doing open houses, doing different things, talking to your database. But once we have those people, how do we get those people to become raving fans of us? Pretty much every time that I mention your name in the real estate industry, especially here in San Antonio, pretty much everybody knows who you are. And 99.9% of the time they talk very highly of you, and like what, they think you're amazing and all this great energy. Can you talk to us? Why do you think that is? Why? How have you created so many raving fans in this environment?
Wow, that's a really good question. I don't know that anybody's ever asked me that. And thank you for that, by the way. I really think that if whoever that 0.1% is doesn't know me yet. And I believe that, because when you sit down and meet with me, I think the reason I have raving fans is because I sincerely care, and I'm going to do everything in my power to help you and help you grow your business. And once you see that, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, this dude does. And he didn't really even ask me for anything. And I don't ask for anything. The fact that you became my raving fan is enough thanks, really. And for you, the same, right? Your raving fans are buyers and sellers, right? Mine are real estate agents, but it's the same, and like, how did we meet? Well, we met because one of my raving fans put us together in a class. And he saw value in what I say every day, and he said, why don't you say that every day, but now say it to a group of people? And I think that was the very first time I spoke to a group like that. I can't remember. Maybe not, but anyway. And so then I met you, I met Joe Cuellar, I met quite a few people. I met, forget who you're sitting by, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, Aaron, but I think he got out of business. But anyway, things like that. So Alan was my raving fan. Now you're my raving fan, but it's the same. You apply that to every part of our industry and really every in life. If you develop raving fans, then they'll go out and be your cheerleader. It's like ninja selling, right? You should have an army of cheerleaders raving about you at all times. And how do you do that? Well, you do a great job in representing them, right? And then you stay top of mind, but you stay top of mind by being a sincere friend they know for sure is going to be, when they call you, you're going to answer, not physically, but like, Well, physically also, like you got to answer the phone when they call, or at least call them right back. But I mean, when they ask you for a favor, or if they ask you for information, or whatever they ask you for, they know 100% you're going to do it with a good open heart and willing to do it because you want to do it.
Sure.
Not because you're trying to get raving fans.
Yeah.
You know, they become raving fans out of sincerity.
Service.
Yeah.
Kind of
Have you ever read
service.
that book? Raving Fans?
I haven't.
That's a good one.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah. I need to reread that one. Tom Romanello gave me that book a long time ago too, and I read it. And then I had my whole staff write down who their raving fans are, because if you have a group of raving fans, you want to know, like, okay, these are my people. I gotta reward them for being my raving fans by being loyal to them and helping them, and maybe they need a raving fan, and I can return whatever it is. Like I can give them referrals. If it's, somebody, a roofer or a plumber or electrician or whatever it is, I can send them people too. And then it's reciprocal. And that's really how to build like that raving fan database.
Sure. And this kind of goes in line with this. I feel like almost every week you're going to different brokerages or different groups or different teams to speak on those things. What is the message? Is the message similar? Is it different? And then you say, like, even you stand in front of a group and like those agents will literally call you like right then and there to set up. What are those agents looking for? What are those agents missing that they feel like, man, I need to call this guy?
Yeah. I don't always know. And sometimes I'm even still shocked, because I don't say the same thing every time, although it's similar. But whatever happens to pop in my mind that day, or whatever book I read, or, whatever they're talking about, I generally just talk about that. But I think I do it with such sincerity, but also energy. Like the guy I just had lunch with right before this, I asked him, like, because he called me like while I was still in the meeting and set an appointment with me. And so we met today, and I said, what was it? Or why'd you call me? Or was that just an accident? Because I kind of felt like he just accidentally dialed my number while I was in the meeting. Anyway, he said it was your energy. He goes, whatever you're drinking or whatever you're popping pill or whatever it is, I want it. I want some of it. Sure. I want to be around that. And I think it's just my energy and the zest for life that I seem to have, or I know that I have. And I think, like you said earlier, you want to surround yourself with like what you want to become. And so I guess it's that. I'm not sure. I don't ask people, but I know you've asked me. I know Alan's asked me one time. I know Herman asked me one time, like, is this you? Like, is this how you are? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I try not to look back at, the mistakes I've made in my life, and I just look forward, and like every day is a new day and a new opportunity. I know that's very cheesy and like, coined, but I believe that. Like I wake up every day, it's a new opportunity. How can I impact somebody with positivity today? And I, like the guy I had lunch with today, we talked about that. Why aren't more people trying to intentionally impact people with positivity? That's all you got to do. Go around and do that. How much better would our world be if everybody was doing it?
Yeah. So it makes you think.
Yeah, it does, right?
And it's like, why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
Why are we get so focused on the negative and the, doom and gloom all the time. It's so easy.
Yeah.
There's not many people like you. but I'll tell you what, I think that's what kept me coming back around and around and around, was that first time I was like, yeah, it definitely had something to do with your energy and your vibe. And even when I'm feeling a little low, we go have lunch and I leave there just a different personality, different person. So I appreciate all of that. That pretty much covers our topics for today. Is there anything else that you want to throw out there, talk about?
We talked about persistence, right? Yeah. Okay. So I would love, I don't know who all sees this, but if anybody wants to be in my group, I'll be starting up in about 3 or 4 weeks, a new group. And one of them's going to be Tony's idea, more like super accountability, which I think is going to help a lot of people. And then because of the meeting I had this morning, one of them is going to be probably just like motivational. And people want to be a part of that too. And hopefully it helps them grow their business in a different way than accountability will, but just by having a positive mindset. So
I think I have to remind myself of the accountability it's okay to not be 100%.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scares me.
Yeah.
When you ask me for a number, like how many calls are you going to make? How many calls did you make? And it's like, oh my God, I feel like a failure.
Yeah.
If I say 10 and I only do 9, I'm like, oh, fuck, I failed.
9 out of 10 is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's an A.
Yeah. So, I think that's what I'm kind of excited about is filling out that chart that we talked about, turning it in, and then having the discussion. You obviously did great here. What was different from your great day to your not so great day? And then there's plenty to learn from that.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier this week is like, you should always be learning, right? You're always learning what to do or what not to do, and every opportunity from when you're talking to somebody, you're listening to somebody, you're watching somebody, whatever it is, you go, oh, I don't like that. And I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Or you go, ooh, I really like that. That's who I want to be.
And the perception of yourself is not necessarily what you think it is. You know? That's crazy. Like when I see people with low energy, I purposely go higher energy, if that's possible. But I don't ever want anybody to go away from me like, oh, that's just not my thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, cool. Yeah. I think that wraps up this episode.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you liked it, I hope you did. Got something out of it. I know I took some notes here, always learning. So if you like the show, please share it with a friend and give us a like. If you got any value out of it, that really helps us. Subscribe to the show so you don't miss the new episodes when they come out every Wednesday. Share the show, help us grow, give us a review, give us a rating, and join our private Facebook group called The Productive Agent. You could also follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All of the links are in the show notes. If you're like Shane here, he likes to watch the podcast. So go watch us on YouTube, give it a like, leave a comment, leave a question. If you have a question for us, drop it in there, and we'll answer it here on the next podcast. We appreciate you joining us today. Now let's get out there and go produce.